Hello guys, today tutorial, the lab tutorial is for you guys to learn how to use a variety of widgets and containers in a simple dialog box. So kind of giving you guys a primer of a common style of widget-based GUI programming. And after, for you guys follow through those all the labs, you guys may be able to deal with the design and prototype, the assignment, a resort reservation app. Um, yeah, so today we're gonna talk about we're gonna cover some what is it? The stacked widget. The container that can hold a variety of the other widgets, and group box, and how to control the radio buttons, so holding options and option checker buttons or check boxes, and spin box, number box with up down buttons, and Q data, date edit, how to handle the date information, and how to handle the single line edit box that is called text box. Line edit, and message dialog. Etc. So those are basically the how to define them, how to set the properties, and how to refer to the values from the user side, how to set the values or something like that. So those are mostly going with some basic kind of workflow. So I hope it helps. Let me give you guys an idea how to do that. So let me first make my own the widgets application, so that lab 3 tutorial. So it's my name, so you guys may give a different name. The next one. And main window, whatever your main window's class name. So like yeah, Dr. Park's main, whatever. And I have this. And as always, I start with the unchecking the shadow build, because shadow builds goes the most of the times problematic. With a very small benefit. So I don't like a shadow build. And one thing is that this shadow build is actually the checkbox, right? So you can click and unclick, like you guys can toggle to check and uncheck. This is actually the very good example of a checkbox, and this one has is a very good pull down menu, pull down tab, pull down menu, and buttons and text box. Line edit box, and a lot of labels and hovering buttons and labels, and this is a pretty good example. So yeah, I noticed it, which is good. And then the forms. So we start here always. The I'd like to give you guys some ideas. First the containers. So here the layouts, spacers, and buttons, and item views, item users, and you guys now eventually have containers. That is, you guys have a stacked widget, a tab widget. So let me just show you guys, how it's working. The tab, so like tab 1 and tab 2, and if you guys click the play, then actually the tab is where you guys can change the view. And you guys see here tab 1 and tab 2. So if you guys put any sort of elements on tab 1, then it's only available in tab 1, and if you click tab 2, then those are gone. So like so here you guys can put any of the widgets actually there. And right, so yeah, you guys can navigate through the multiple tabs often. So this is an obvious tab, so it gives a user a full control of navigating through between tabs, right? So when you would like to give them the full control for tabs, then you give this. And today, my focus is actually going with the containers here. That is, here we go. Oh, where is it? Ah, yeah, containers here. The stacked widget. So stack widget is actually, a kind of a tabs, but not giving a user a control of navigating through the tab. So we see the buttons, like those the triangle buttons, and then it obviously gives us an idea, the how to, in the design side, in the design phase, I mean, how to navigate through between the pages, right? So if you click this, then if you see on the hierarchy, then the stacked widget, it has a page one and page two. So let me just give a push button on the center of this guy. So you now see the page, page has the push button as a child, and page two doesn't have a push button. So we click it page, and we see the push button here. But we click the page two, it doesn't really show up. And this is very convenient, we click the stacked widget, and then we get down to the bottom left, bottom right, we have a Q stacked widget, and it has a current index. So it has two pages. So we change the current index, then we can manually navigate through, and then we can set the default the index of a page, so that if you would like to show up the page two first by default, then you set 1. Otherwise you just set 0. Then in the play time and the execution time, what you see is actually the current index. And then you guys can always switch the current index uh, to show a different the UI, and switch it quickly, and without changing without loading a new form or designing a new form, completely new form, separate form. So let me see the proceed to uh, page 2 like this. Let me give this kind of a name, and then let's say we have in the page 2, let's say we have any sort of labels, whatever. What's up, this is page 2, right? So let's make this button to change the current, what is it, the current index, and then let's make this button to show the next tab to users. So you right click you need to make the click event handler to go to slot and click, and this make actually the push button click event handler. And then let's go back. What was the name of the stacked widget? It's just a stacked widget. Here we go. So stack UI stacked widget, and set current index, and then you say it's index, the first one is 0 and the next 1, so you just set as 1, and there you go, and you click it, play, and what you see here is really the process to page 2. Okay, click it. What's up? This is page 2. Here we go. Right? And the good thing is that this is still in the same form, so everything data structure, the related, the member function, member variable is all available, and you guys can, they always make your own logic to jump between the pages, right? Which is cool. Right. So this is a stacked widget lesson, right? And the next, let's move on to the group box and radio button. So actually the radio button is, uh, you click it, and to move this button you need to somehow to make sure yourself have the focus, I mean, of your choice here in the design, and then you move on and move this out. Then you guys can relocate this to somewhere, just FYI. And radio button. Okay, let me show you guys a radio button. One more, I Control C, Control V, or Command C, Command V, or you just hold the Control button, and then yeah, Control C, Control V, right? Control C, Control V is good here, and then here we go, radio button, and radio button, Control C, Control V once again, and radio button. So here, like Big Mac and cheese pizza and um, what it is, spaghetti like this, and you just apply. Then what you can have is actually a three radio buttons, Big Mac, cheese pizza. Oh, this is a little bit, the trimmed a little. So like you may want to adjust a little bit of the size of this radio button though. So Big Mac, cheese pizza, and spaghetti. Radio button actually gives only one element among them to have actual choice, right? So this is actually, what it is, a radio button. Um, so this is one usage, but in some cases, you may want to have a two groups of different radio buttons, right? So I mean, if you'd like to have, the main menu choice and the side choice, and then, the drink choice, then you may want to have a three different choices. In that case, we use a group box here. Group box is very useful for that. So those three, you put those. So this one, this guy, this guy. Yeah, while holding the control and command, you guys can have the multiple choice and then multiple selection. And I remember we need to size this size a little bit, right? Then here we go. This is, I double clicked here and main dish, and yeah, those are all the instant. I'm sorry, but yeah. So I gave my the selection here. I click the main dish and then Control C, Control V, or right click and copy and right click paste. Uh, Copy, and then you give your focus on this guy, the parent widget, and then you paste, right? So always you guys can Control Z the undo, and you guys can give a different roll back and then do something back again in the correct way. So like aside, um, the French fries and hash potato, hash brown, or onion rings, and again like drink and Coke Zero and 7 Up. This is the right comp, I don't know. Bottom. Okay, let's do that. And click it. Click play, and you have main dish and side and drink. So here we choose one, and side we choose one. It doesn't really, it picks the choice up from the other side because those are in a different containers. So you guys can always, have a good the choices, available choices with the across groups, right? So it's just good. Yeah, and here you guys see the hierarchy a little bit in a clear way. So let me close this, and you guys have all of them like this. But the one matter is that it's gonna be a little better for you to give sometimes a by default choice, right? So you click one, and for the one, I mean you'd like to give a default choice, and then click, and then the bottom right you have a properties here, property value, queue object button. At the very end, you have a checkbox. So you just click it, and you guys can give whatever the default choice, and if you'd like, you guys can give in this way and give in this way, so that you guys can give a default by default choice and selection. And then this is one, and the matter is how to refer to those values from the code, right? So okay, let me see. Those are radio button 0, 2, 3. So you may want to give main dish one or whatever kind of a name, so that you guys can refer back to them, the correctly. So let me see. But now, right now, in the buttons, let me check Big Mac radio and uh, cheese pizza radio and spaghetti radio like this, and we can get back to the code, and we can what can I say, always refer to the values like you know, you may want to do this in your any sort of event handlers, but on UI it was the ham Big Mac uh, Big Mac radio. I don't know why this. Oh, okay. So this one we may need to run qmake to sync everything, all the namespaces. Yeah, this is still the radio button. Let me double check if I haven't saved this yet. There we go. Yeah, it's a. So in this case, I mean, you guys first may want to just play with the clean code. Then it gives you guys all the necessary references and the widget names. Reset it. So like a Big Mac radio, and now the how to refer to the current, if it is checked or not, is checked like this. And this actually gives you guys a boolean is Big Mac checked equal like this. Then you guys can have always the state of the check of radio button anytime. So in this way you guys can refer the value, and that's it for the checkbox. Okay, and for the radio button. So next one is a checkbox. So checkbox is here. So this is a kind of a to-dos, right? So like optional the don't no letters, right? If you'd like, right? So no letters. So this is just an example, and so that you guys can play. And there's no letters, and you can click, check it, and uncheck. The matter is that if you put another tomato or whatever, so those are checkboxes. I mean, the state of one checkbox doesn't really matter to the other checkbox, so you guys can have a multiple checks around. So this is different between a radio button and checkboxes, right? And how to refer to the value of the checkbox is pretty simple. That is, you guys have checkbox and checkbox 2, so no letters and no tomato. And I saved it. Hopefully it works. I mean, so bool no letters UI is still there. So let me see. This is pretty dumb, but let me run check. Yeah, still there. So let me just rebuild compilation database. Is it? This may be. Nope. Yeah, just let me just build it. And yeah, the build actually works. No letters is checked like this. No tomato is checked. Yeah, like this. I mean, so this way you guys can easily add the checkbox elements, and then get an idea whether they are checked or not. So in this way. Okay, and next one is spin box. So there are some the elements. There are some the cases you need to give a user a control, like in a specific numbers. I mean, in increasing or decreasing one by one, like so how many the patties you want, the single, double, triple, really what may work. But if it goes with, how many burgers you want, like, the same option, or, quantity, like from 1 to 10 or whatever like that, then it actually goes with the spin box that is here. You guys have in the input widgets, you guys have a spin box, so that here you guys can give a user a control, how to, like kind of a limited control. So it's actually, it works very well for the usability. So like here, you make a spin box, and then so like let me name it how many, and how many main dish. So like how many main dishes is spin box now, and then let me give a minimum. Minimum order is obviously 1, and maximum order, let me say, to the harness it, and keep it in control, like not to be crazy. So like single step is 1, so like a 1, we can, so that the user can increase 1 by 1 and decrease 1 by 1. And initial value, this value is initial value, so that, let's say it's a 1. So those are there, and you guys can set it up. And let's see, let's play. And what we see is like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then like this, and then let's say 20. 20 doesn't work, right? 2, 0, 0, 0, 0. I keep pushing 0, but it doesn't work. So 10 and -1, even minus doesn't really work. I mean, so it's just pretty good. So like this, and one thing is that, so you guys can set the number, and then let's say you guys can, even in real time by code, you guys can set the minimum and maximum value, and the value, depending on the others. So I mean, so to say, if you choose a cheese pizza, then let's say the cheese pizza only, allows you to set, only let you order up to 5 pizza. So I mean, not 10. Then you guys can easily change the maximum, so that let me just make a one example. So cheese pizza, let's say the go to slot, if this is clicked, right? If this is clicked, then let's make the maximum of that, the spin box, as 5. So clicked, the how UI, how many main dish, set maximum as just a 5, and let's see what would happen. And then the if you make this, then the for later, I'm just showing you guys how the set maximum works. But in the actual UI, you may want to say the pizza 5 and hamburger 10 and others 8, the spaghetti 8. Then you need to make the separate event handler individually for every component, so like that. So yeah, let me just try. So I just gave my main window, like if the cheese pizza is clicked, then I set the maximum as 5. So I just put the 10 for the Big Mac, and I choose the cheese pizza, and then you see the I gave them the 10, but on side, as soon as I click the cheese pizza, the maximum became 10. So the value just shrink as to 5, right? The value cannot exceed the maximum value, goes below the minimum value anytime. So I mean, so this is guaranteed. So I mean, you guys can make it work. So in this way, just for example, and you guys can set the value and change the value anytime, and then you guys can refer to, so to say, I'm just showing you guys UI, how many side dish, this is Spinbox instance, and then get like a value. So if you call this, then in current value like this, and you guys can refer to the value like this, right? So it's just pretty easy. Here we go. So this is another example, and Spinbox is here, and date edit is the next one. So those are all necessary for the lab, so you may want to give a better focus on it. And bottom here, what we have is, let me see, we would like to say date edit. So here, date edit, it gives us an idea how to, change the date. So like, yeah, I just set it in play, and I give them like this one, and if we put the cursor on it, so like 12, 12, 12, 15, and it actually gives us a good kind of user experience, so that users can always make a mistake, but we just give them a limited kind of a choice in the typing up the date, so like you guys can work on this in this way, and you guys can play with this. I mean, give it a try. And you may want to set sometimes, I mean, a specific date, right? So so the name right now is a date edit right now here. So okay, here we go. So get back to here, and then initialize UI date edit is the instance name, and then set date. You guys can set the date, and the first one, very easy way, the easiest way is to set the date as a current date. So QDate is the Qt date format kind of a class, which is very convenient. And then in the QDate namespace, you just set a current date. It's actually kind of a static function call to give the return the current date, and then you just set the date like this, and you're good to go with like. You play it, and it is automatically set as a current date. Here we go. It's pretty beautiful, right? And if you'd like to set it, set the date, set date, then you give as an argument the Q date. So this is pretty easy. Q date, something. Q date and date, and you guys can give any sort of numbers on it. So it has some overrides of the constructor. So YM, the year, month, and date. So like 2000, 2000, like March and 10, so to say. And then date like this, and you guys can give the specific date, set it to the specific date like this. So like here's yeah, it's a pretty good example, and you guys can always get back to its UI and the property, and you guys can set the format, display format. So like it's a MDYYYY, and you go to it's what is it? Yeah, so you go to the date, the QDate edit class, and you talk about the format, display format. You click it, and there is there's some several examples like how to you guys format that, and then yeah, so example format strings, and there are some specific settings. I mean, you guys can make it work. So like so large M means like they put in actual the alphabets, I mean July, or just like that, just to give us an idea of just the numbers like that. So those are some of the examples, so you guys can work on it. And once you, yeah, those are actually, the go to slot. If you click go to slot, then you guys can make an event handler so that, every time the user change the date, then you guys can make your app to respond to the user input every time. Otherwise, you may want to make your code later in some other button click event or something. You may want to refer to the data, the current data, get, no, 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 date. So yeah, like this. And this actually gives you guys like this. So you guys can work like this, and then you just fetch the current date on the UI, and then you get the date, and then so like current date edit data, and you guys can refer to day and year and month, and then you guys can extract day, year, month data individually. So yeah, which is super convenient, and then you guys can play with that, right? So which is cool. So that is that, and the next one, you guys may, take a breath and, proceed to the next. And next is Q line edit. So line edit is just a one line kind of a text input box. It's a, the text edit actually gives us an idea. A multiple line edit, the bottom of the line edit is just a simple one. We can make, we can where I mean we can play with a lot of functionalities around. So I mean bottom it's just a basic kind of functionality is about the same. So like from the this has also the event handlers, I mean, input or return pressed, I mean, the type, and then hit the return key or enter key, then the return pressed actually invokes, and then event handler is called if you define it. And text change it, text edit it, or selection change it, or whatever, the events can be handled. So those are there, but I would like to show you guys how, this is line edit, object name line edit, but later on you guys may want to change the object name first and then run, and then give it a try. Yeah, so this is just a single line editor, so this is which is good. And all the alphabetical letters and special characters can be, put together. So yeah, sometimes we don't want to do that because we want to limit the user interaction sometimes. So like here we go. So here, so I mean to refer to the data is UI line edit, and then the text. Then you guys can have a Q string, the text. So I mean this is Q string. So text this returns the Q string. So you guys get this Q string data. Like this, and you guys can use it for any purpose, right, for you guys. And one more thing is that the great thing of line edit is actually using its input mask. So just for example, you may want to sometimes get an idea of credit card information or phone number or whatever like that. So to say, if you go to the QLine edit class, and this is actually, I left the link in, the related references. This is the QLine edit input mask, the property. So here's an example. So 0000000, if you put the mask like this, then users can only put the numbers around there, and then the blanks are represented as just the underscore. So, and those are all the information. So if you, let me just show you guys, I mean, how to do that. So let me just put a phone number, 999 and 999-9999 and semicolon and underscore. Then it gives us like this. So 9 means like a number, but on those every digit are mandatory. So three numbers and 4 numbers I need, so that a user can just type it in only numbers around here. So 22206 221, yeah, arbitrary number 2232, like this. You cannot add any alphabets or something, just you can give just a number like this, right? Isn't it cool, right? So this is the one example how you guys can just limit the mask, give a mask of available inputs on it. So we get back, and those are all the examples. And the I my preference goes with just 9 is ASCII digit is required 0 to 9. And if you use 0, then it's permitted but not required. So I mean it allows users to skip some of the numbers sometimes, which is crazy, which goes crazy. And those are all examples from the homepage, I mean the web page of the reference. So go there and check it out, read, make a good read of it, the couple of minutes or something, and then get some idea how to do that. So my example was, this 99, yeah, phone number like this, and you guys can always set depending on the other events, so that the name is line edit right now. So like, let me get back, and then let me just give you guys and show you guys how to set it up, like UI line edit, set input mask. This actually gets a queue string. So I mean, you guys may want to have another queue string, and then to set it dynamically sometimes if you'd like. So like for the card number information for 16 Visa Master or something like that, 999999999999, and we would like to put the blank as underscore. If you put 0, then those are going to be all 0. So let me just try 0, and no matter how we set, it's the once it's initializing, it's actually overrides everything. So let's see how it goes. So it gives us an idea of the card number, right? Like this, which is cool, right? And if you'd like to fix, the sum numbers on it, so like, the Visa or Master, they actually gives like a 3 or 4 or something like that. So you give just 3, then you guys can actually fix the first digit, and then your users have no way to they have change that first 3 and give it a try. It doesn't work. So I mean, yeah. So this is a very, very nice way, I mean, to give a user a clear idea how to how for them, I mean, to give an input. So which is super, super cool, right? And let me tell you guys, okay, this is that. So the Q line edit, and um, how to right, how to the last yeah, one thing is, yeah, the text from the line edit, I mean, this is, you guys can always have the Q string refer to the current value set. And the last one is the how to display a message box. So let me put a message box is a kind of a pop-ups. I mean, you guys may see, they pretty much every day. Like, let me push button, and let me make a push button pop-up test. And this is just a button to the make a pop-up, create a pop-up, and go to slot, clicked, right, event handler. There we go. And we make a message box. So for this, we need to define QMessageBox. Message box. I mean, the reason why, I mean, we don't see this is actually we need to include it, right? This is the first, probably the explicit inclusion of a specific library. So Q message box, right? And you guys can use it, right? It's gone. Error underscore, it's gone. Message box dot set text. Howdy. Here's, here we go. And message box set window title, hello. like this, and message box execute like this, and you guys just those 4 lines, and that's it. And you guys can make a pop-up very easily. Here we go, and pop-up test. Howdy, greetings. Easy, right? So those are all the informations you guys need for the next lab, and hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you. Time.